Well, winter came to the Borders on Friday night. This was the scene after the Gala versus Biggar game at Netherdale. But by Saturday morning, it had all cleared and we had a full programme of events in the Scottish Hydroelectric League. Welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup from Riverside Park, and we'll bring you news from Jedforest against table toppers Dundee High School FP in Premier 2 later on in the programme. But let's begin with another big clash in Premier 1 at the Green Yards. It was Melrose against table toppers Ayr. Here's Laing Speirs.
Melrose kept the border flag flying, but it was a hard-worked win at the Green Yards over the league leaders. Melrose never enjoyed total supremacy and their line-out was a bit wobbly, but from time to time they were able to turn on pace and power, and they thoroughly deserved their win. They scored 3 tries, which is a thing they do fairly frequently. Didn't quite get the bonus point, but they certainly deserved their win. It was their 6th Premiership win in a row. They had 2 trump cards in Jordan Macy and in Scott White. White's kicking from hand and at the post was very effective. He picked up 3 penalties and a conversion, and there was some excellent running overall. It was a good win and it kept Melrose on course for what Craig Chalmers promises will be a big finish to the league.
There's a lot to work on, but they're top of the league, and I think they'll get beaten again. So I think it's great to get a win against them down here. Celtic are the only team to beat them so far this season. So we beat them down here, and we can move on to West Scotland next week. But delighted with the result. Performance could have been better, but I thought the second half we came out and we were hungrier.
Selkirk took a bit of a beating at Curry, conceding 9 tries in a 62-20 rout at Millennium Park. But despite the scoreline, Selkirk scored 3 tries from Scott Hendry, Lee Jones and Fraser Harkness, and were competitive for most of the match. Here's Selkirk backs coach Michael Jaffray.
I thought we were competitive for large periods of the game, and whenever we did sort of good things, we'd do 2 or 3 good things, and then we'd do 1 bad thing and we'd be sort of punished quite heavily, and it was a strange kind of game. I thought we were competitive for large periods, but then to come away with a 62-20 defeat is bitterly disappointing. Not good news for Hawick either, as they dropped a place to 11th in the league with a home defeat against the team in second place, HERIOT'S. They went down 43-7 at Mansfield Park, although it was all square at 7 apiece at the interval. In fact, Hawick took the lead with this try from Ryan Hogg. Here's how the table looks, with Selkirk still 3rd, Melrose up to 4th thanks to their 6th win on the trot, and Hawick down in 11th. Next week, Selkirk are back at home after playing 3 matches away, and they'll be looking to do the double over Glasgow Hawks at Fortress Philip Hoch. Melrose travel to Burnbrae to take on West of Scotland, who are without a win in 2 matches. Meanwhile, it doesn't get any easier for Hawick as they head to Millbrae to meet table toppers Ayr. Well, a couple of weeks ago in our last programme, we set you a competition, or rather Phil Godman, Scotland's fly half, set you a competition. Let's recap on that.
If you want to win the signed Scottish rugby ball, who was the 1000th player to play for Scotland?
A lot of people trying to get hold of that signed Scottish rugby ball in our biggest postbag of the year so far. Well, we'll put you out of your misery. Here's the answer.
Yeah, hi, you're right, it was me, Jim Hamilton, 1000th cap for Scotland.
And well done to Gillian Watson from Newcastle, first correct answer out of the bag on Friday night. Well, after the break, more action from Premier 2. Welcome back to Borders Rugby Roundup, and let's have a look at Premier 2 now. And on Friday night, Gala made the decision to play under the light against Biggar. Interesting game. Gala really very poor, to be perfectly honest. They conceded 3 tries, 2 of them were very dubious, and Gary Parker, the coach of Gala, was a little bit disappointed, to say the least, after the game.
We didn't play well, make no bones about it. Things didn't work for us at all. We didn't create a lot of chances, and if you're in that sort of situation and you're not creating chances, then you're causing your own downfall. Although, to be brutally honest, and it's not a nice thing to say, because it does sound like sour grapes, but when you've got a try that's not a try, where he drops the ball over the line and the touch judge gives the decision and he's the closest man there, and I think we've seen it on video that he didn't score. And then when the bigger winger's admitting to myself as he's on his way back that he did knock the ball on before picking it up to score the second try, that's they're two massive decisions that the officials have got wrong, and unfortunately we suffer the consequences for them.
Well, here at Riverside Park, it was Jedforest against Dundee High School FP, a real table-topping clash here. Dundee High School FP, who'd beaten all Borders teams in the first part of the season, taking on Jedforest at Riverside Park. Jed, of course, unbeaten at home this season. It was the perfect start for Jed as they went 7-0 up on 5 minutes, with Greg Walker bagging his 5th try of the season, converted by Chris Richards. But Dundee capitalised on James Henderson's yellow card and also used the wind advantage to great effect to run in a couple of tries before the break. It was a different story though in the second half. For the first half hour, Jed had probably 80% of the territory as they virtually camped on the high school line. But they couldn't score. Richards missing 3 penalties didn't help the cause either, and Dundee wrapped it up with a breakaway try 10 minutes from time to stay top of the table with a 24-7 win. Playing his 200th game for Jed was Ross Goodfellow.
I wouldn't say we played badly. We got stuck in, we were into the wind first half, we tried hard. Dundee put a lot of pressure on us, so we're down to 14 men, and second half we threw everything we had at them, and we just couldn't get over that line.
Over at the Gites, meanwhile, Peebles were taking on STEWART'S-MELVILLE. Now, Peebles hadn't been beaten at the Gites for 14 months. Could they do it again? Here's Bill Polson.
Both sides created opportunities to win this match, but both also frequently produced a vital defensive intervention when their line was threatened. Dan Botwood again had a productive afternoon for Peebles with 3 penalties and a conversion, but was as much a villain as hero as his offside offence a few minutes from no side allowed Stuart Kerr to bring STEWART'S-MELVILLE level with his 3rd penalty. Kerr also converted centre Craig Marshall's well-taken try for the visitors, while the home try came when prop Neil Clark went over from a maul. The first half of the Gites was cagey, the second half was lively. At the end it was Peebles 16, STEWART'S-MELVILLE 16.
So Jed stay second in the league with Peebles 4th, Gala 5th and Kelso 9th. Next week Gala go to Stewmel, Peebles visit GHA, Jed are on the road at Biggar and Kelso are at Poynter Park to face Hamilton. Now for news of the other Borders rugby teams, here's Richie Gray.
Better news for Border teams in the National Leagues, with all 3 winning. In National League 1, Laing went 3rd with a 16-10 win at home to DL, with Chris Jardine and Craig Hislop scoring tries. Meanwhile, Berwick beat high-flying Dumfries 12-8 at Scremerston thanks to 4 penalties from Matthew McCreath. They stay 7th, and next week Berwick travel to play Edinburgh University while Langham visit RHC. In National 2, it was 11 out of 12 for Hawick YM on the road at Forrester. They won 19-16 thanks to 2 tries by Gary Douglas and Keith Davis and stay 3rd in the table. Next week they play Newton Stewart at home. Meanwhile, in the Scottish Cup second round, the Battle of Hawick was won by Hawick Harlequins, who made the short trip to Hawick Lindean's ground and beat them 20 points to 5 to advance to round 3 of the competition. But Duns are out after losing 13-10 at home to Portobello. Next week the Eastern League is back and the fixtures are on your screen now.
Well, before we go today, congratulations to Rory Hutton and Graham Hogg from Hawick and also Roddy Grant of Gala, who have all been selected for the Scotland Sevens team at Dubai in the IRB World Series. Well, you can see interviews with all 3 on our Hawick and Gala pages at the website, but that's it for this week. Join us again next Monday for Borders Rugby Roundup.